let's go to my MVP rankings heading into week 3 of football. I'm going to start at number 4, and we're going to work our way up here. I say 4, we had 5 because sometimes we might have 3. I didn't see 5 guys that I need to put on this list. But I tell you what, the quarterbacks continue to shock me with some of their outstanding play. And, given what it is, I totally understand how hard it is to play quarterback in the United Football League. What I think many of us fail to understand is how hard it is to play it, given what people know about you from what they can already hear. So I'm curious to find out after the first couple of weeks if these change, because we're going to hear your calls on a microphone on YouTube. Then you got to change it up. Then you got to make a play. All right, so let's get the list up, and let's start at number 4 and work our way up. So at number 4 on my UFL Power Rankings, I'm going to start with Arlington Renegades quarterback Luis Perez because, 21 to 29, 72% completions, 233 yards. I think the stat that stuck to me was he ranked 2nd in the UFL in passing, but 1st in yards per attempt. And I thought that was remarkable given that, he ain't had much of a run game to speak of. And while I want them to get one sooner rather than later, he's also very clear about where he wants to go with the football. And he's being very honest with Chuck Long in between these play calls and what he wants and what he sees. And I think Chuck Long is trying to go along with it and give him what he wants because they understand that. He's also been able to keep Lindsey Scott on the bench for most of the first 2 weeks. And Lindsey Scott was outstanding in college. I was really excited to see that dude throw the ball all around the yard because that dude that went 4,600 yards, en route to making a playoff appearance in the FCS. And yet Luis Perez, nah, man, I won a national championship, Texas A&M Commerce. I played 4 professional spring leagues. I know what I'm doing. Number 3 on the list, I got Mateo Durant. My goodness, first 100-yard running back in the UFL. I don't know if he knows that. I don't know if they pointed that out. But I kept looking for a 100-yard tailback because I'm thinking offensive line has never been better in spring football, at least the last 3 years. Hasn't been better. You should run behind it, and they got Mateo Durant out there. Also, I forgot dude went to Duke, and dude set the single-season rushing record at Duke his last year, 2021, over 1,200 yards. He's bounced around, but I think he's found a home with St. Louis, and I think that if A.J. McCarron can trust him, you can do some dynamic things with those two guys on play action and really moving the football, keeping it on schedule. And then number 2 on the list, I got A.J. McCarron, also St. Louis Battlehawks. He is, I think, with Luis Perez, one of the most respected quarterbacks in the United Football League. It's a man that, like Reed Sinnett with the Houston Roughnecks, spent last year with Cincinnati Bengals, asked for his release so that he could go play for St. Louis because he's got young kids, and he wanted those kids to watch dad play quarterback. Same thing is true with DJ Swearinger. That dude played 9 years in the NFL. It's like, what are you doing in the UFL? My kid ain't never seen me play football. It matters. It matters because it's one thing for us to be like, yeah, dog, I was cold in high school. It is another thing for you to go out there and do it on national television, out there living the dream. Yeah, I'd ask for my release too. So I go 19 of 29 for 248, 2 TDs, and no interceptions. Again, A.J. McCarron is that dude. He expects to get St. Louis into that title game this year. And then number 1, I got Chase Garbers. That dude's been money for 2 consecutive weeks. 29 of 40, 287, and 3 TDs with 1 pick in their come-from-behind win against Memphis last week, 20 to 19. Had 3 total TDs in their first outing. He understands the offense. He is running it the way that A.J. Smith has envisioned it. And again, mic'd up segments are some of my favorite, just memeable moments. At one point out here talking about, I'm killing it, because he was. He was killing the play, but he's also killing it on the field.
If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.